Hello everyone, I'm Forrest McFreelava, and this is Speedplay Conclave number 17. We left off with the Pope vassalized. We can go ahead and just claim duchies from really anyone. The Pope just has to approve, and since he's our vassal, he probably will. We also look for family members whom we might be able to grant titles to, just to make as many of our vassals as possible be family members of ours, and to just increase the strength of the dynasty throughout. We do go ahead and just start fabricating claims on even more duchies, because what we can probably do is fabricate a claim, or just ask for a claim, more honestly, from every single duchy in Italy, so that when we declare war, we'll press all of our claims and take the entire province back for Rome. And that's basically the goal. We can also usurp the Empire of Swabia, which we do go ahead and do. Sadly, it's Gavelkind, so we'll lose it if we can't shift that back. We can't really do anything about that right now, though, so main thing is to just keep fabricating these claims on these duchies in Italy, or just keep asking for them. We do go ahead and just ask for all of them, and it is working out fairly well. Some places that don't have duchies, we just have to get claims on the specific counties. Overall, though, we should get the vast majority, if not all, of Italy under our control with this one war. I go ahead and double check that we have everything that we can claim. The council won't approve, but we go ahead and hire an advisor who seems down, and all of a sudden we can press all of our claims. We raise a few mercenaries just to be safe about it, because we don't really know. There are 13,000 Italian forces down there, which is a bit more than we massed. So we raise some extra armies just to ensure victory. Once again, we have to just ship over extra boats because they're too large for their boats, which is a moderate inconvenience, but a really nice problem to have. They also seem to be beelining straight towards Rome, which is probably a huge issue since they have more troops than us. We do go ahead and raise our own personal levies from Thrace and just bring them over. Now we do get those 5,000 additional men in there, and that seems to have turned the tide in our favor. So we were very lucky that we timed that as well as we did. One of our vassals dies, so we go ahead and hand over his viceroyalties to various family members, just transferring the vassals and making sure everything stays more or less in line. With that all said and done, we chase the Italian armies. We did win that first battle. Since there is now shattered retreats, that doesn't just win us the war. However, we're just going to start seizing all of their territories, hopefully just getting the war score up to 100% anyway, and making a nice little bit of gold in the process. It does lower the amount of troops that we have, which is sensible. We do go ahead and just charge up to where a revolt is in progress and just re-siege all of those territories for some nice gold and war score. And just like that, we're up to 100%. We go ahead and enforce our demands, and now we are the proud owners of most of Italy. Not the entirety, though, but we do usurp the kingdom. And now we offer vassalization to everybody who's left. Most of them don't accept because we took their lands and they're kind of upset about it. Now we go ahead and find more family members to grant counties to. There's not very many of them, sadly, since we've been granting so many lands out. There are a lot of children, but I don't want them to get the territories and then inherit something else and just become a long-term problem. So it's mainly just down to people of our religion and our culture who we just grant the lion's share of territories to, and we will eventually make them into viceroys. We go ahead and transfer vassalage, give all these people their viceroys, give the Pope an extra, and just set up the aristocracy to be our religion, our culture, and hopefully undermine the Italian culture over time. We'll see just exactly how well that works in time, but for now it should work fairly well. And alright, with that done, we are still 10 vassals over, so we do go ahead and start granting out viceroy kingdoms, making some very potently powerful people in our kingdom, or in our empire. Hopefully nothing too serious. We also hold a triumph for ourselves for this amazing reintegration of most of Italy into the Roman Empire, even though it is technically called the Byzantine Empire, or the Byzantine Empire. It's still Roman. We are based in Rome, and I will deny that distinction really exists. We also will still lose Swabia unless we manage to clean up our Spanish vassals, who all kind of hate us, and there is a rebellion which pulls us over back into Italy. Sadly, I'm not sure the best way to go ahead and get all those vassals on our side. I was kind of dumb to just usurp the Empire of Swabia, didn't really think it through. And now we might very well pay the price if we can't get these laws shifted. One thing we could do is destroy the Byzantine Empire title, just become Swabia, and then maybe rebuild the Byzantine Empire title. I'm really not tempted to do that, though. I tried to come up with a justification. We do manage to get the Jews back in and then kick them back out, bringing us up to almost 2k ducats, which is pretty nice. And we do still have a terrible issue with Spain, and it might actually fall away from us. So we do go ahead and start revoking duchies from our Spanish grandson. Our son who we had in prison died, which is terribly unfortunate because our grandson rises up in rebellion. So while that isn't ideal, we do have to just ship our forces over to Spain and deal with a massive revolt there. This is the second massive Spanish revolt we've dealt with, and I'm not entirely pleased that it's becoming such a problem area. However, once we do manage to just defeat our Spanish grandson and all of his Muslim armies, we'll get him into prison. We raise more forces just so we can hopefully win this. We're still a werewolf, by the way, so that's something just to be aware of. We ship in additional forces, so we have just superiority of numbers. Our heir keeps getting switched between different people, so hopefully we'll be able to make this succession work for us, although it is really up in the air a lot more than I would like, especially now that we're getting up there in years, but we are only about 46, so we should be fine. We do go ahead and charge forward, engaging the rebel armies. It looks as though we won that just out loud, which is fantastic news. Now we just have to search around for territories that don't have very large garrisons, siege them, and once we win the war, we'll get our grandson in prison, where we can just demand all of his titles one after another, and really just turn this whole province into a Sweeby Catholic area, as opposed to the Sweeby Sunni area it is now. And also Andalusian. It's a hodgepodge of cultures, and we really need to clean that up at some point. We do go ahead and attack. We change our hairstyle or get ready to and don't actually follow through. We might lose that battle. Luckily, we win despite losing our left flank, or I guess our right flank, but their left. And there we go. We've won the war. We can go ahead and try to get the council on our side so we can change inheritance laws. It does work for the Byzantine Empire, not so much for Swabia. And here's something. I didn't realize that our grandson dies. That wasn't actually an update showing that, but he dies in prison. So, terribly unfortunately, we just won that big war to get him in prison so we can revoke all of his titles. He's dead now. He just died almost immediately. So we're cleaning up Barcelona so that we can get all of the Muslims out and then just replace them with good Sweeby Catholics. And we do begin the process. We also do have a family member who I'm hoping we'll be able to get relations up to. We go ahead and look for various peoples that we can marry off. Sadly, we don't find any. There is a Sunni Sweeby family member who we start granting all these titles to. The idea is when he has all of Barcelona, he'll like us enough that he'll convert, and there he goes. And now we just have to go after Galicia. Now, this is where that terrible thing comes in. Our grandson had died. His heir, just another one of his brothers, has taken over and is not in jail. So he gets to rise up, and we get to redo the Spanish Civil War for about the third time in about 3 decades. So it's a little unfortunate. We have to raise all of our forces from just throughout the Byzantine Empire all over again, ship them all back to Swabia, which has proven to be just a significant problem place. It's not too much of an issue, though. We will just dominate the war fairly straightforwardly, as that's really been just how it's happened every time. It's just a moderate inconvenience. And we do manage to just charge in. Luckily, their garrisons are a little bit weaker than they had been previously because they just haven't been able to reform in the small amount of time since the last war. And we just managed to go through destroying their forces. We are using up quite a few of our troops, which is potentially a problem. However, they don't have very many troops either, which is fairly nice. We do have to go ahead and just reshuffle some of the viceroyalties. Overall, though, it's not too much of a problem. We get more troops to ship over. We are at 92% war score, so one more battle should be enough to just defeat them, get this kid back into prison, or into prison the first time, and let us dismantle all of Swabia. The battle begins, and we go ahead and just try to get people to plot with us. It'll take just a moment, and there we go. The battle is moving forward. It always seems like there's a lot going on while battles occur. Sadly, though, we died of depression. So that's terribly unfortunate. Swabia has gotten its independence. Luckily, we are the heir of Swabia. We may just go ahead and try to assassinate the Emperor of Swabia. And there is a army of exiles planning to attack, which is not ideal. We also have to go ahead and just give various gifts or honorary titles to our council members, reshuffle the council, try to get all of our vassals on the same page. And we can declare war on Swabia directly. We can also try to assassinate the Emperor of Swabia, which we go ahead and attempt. We'll see just how well that goes. We may be forced to fight a fourth war. We do have a claim on the Empire, though, so we can hopefully just take it back. And there is a lot of shuffling around with our vassals and our nominees for just the inheritance of various titles. So with that all said and done, hopefully we'll be able to clean this all up. It may be a little up in the air. Overall, though, I'd say we're not in a bad spot. We lost one title, gained one title, lost a province, gained a province. And now you'll see the dynastic map shows a lot of our dynasty peoples just outside of the realm. Let's try to bring them back into the fold. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Sorry for being a little not fully here this week, but next week we'll be back up to our full schedule, one video every weekday. And thank you very much for watching through this gap.